Speculative design is design practice that perceives problems across a timeline, then sets out to build a plausible future focused on breaking barriers of the impossible to create a spectrum of preferred futures through experimentation with, what if this happens, what would come of that? The characteristics of speculative design involve shapes of the future, where we have a future that starts from the possible, then goes to the plausible, before moving on to the probable, and hopefully attain the ideal of the preferable. Although most of the time, things get stuck at the probable, since the preferable may not appeal to all at once. Emergence. How would something unanticipated and never seen before come out of something that we know? Provocation. How could the design of a future scenario arouse heightened emotions that would induce curiosity for further exploration? Narratives. What are the building blocks used for building the scenarios across space and time? Does the type of narrative matter, and how can fiction be used to augment reality? Watch the following story to see how these four concepts come together. It's the year 2019. Roshan, a 22-year-old Malaysian man, has just graduated from university. And he has a problem. He doesn't have any plans or dreams for his future. Wanting to find a direction in life, he decides to visit a museum in his hometown. Inside, he encounters 4 doors. A name flashes above each. He decides on shapes of the future. Inside the room is a fortune teller. She beckons him to sit with her. The fortune teller presents Roshan with 2 decks of cards. One that shows him alternative paths, and another that shows him the possible futures. She explains that when Roshan picks up a card, he will be transported to either the past or the future for an hour. Roshan decides on the deck of possible futures and is told that everything in the deck represents all that could ever happen within the realm of possibilities, from the strange to the mundane. The fortune teller then draws 10 cards from the deck and shows them to him. The cards present these as all the plausible futures, what is likely to happen. Some of them involve him being an extremely successful multi-millionaire with a loving wife and 5 kids. Others involve him being destitute and homeless, eventually dying of tuberculosis. One even involves him traveling overseas and becoming a famous actor. The fortune teller then shuffles these cards and places 5 of them in front of him. She tells him that these cards represent the futures that are probably going to happen. These futures are less glamorous and ideal, consisting of futures where he settles down with the girl next door or ends up stuck at a dead-end job. She puts these cards back into the deck, spreads the entire deck out in front of him, and asks him which future he wants the most. Roshan picks 3 futures which he would like to happen. One where he is a famous actor. One where he settles down with the girl next door. And finally, one where he does both. She then sends Roshan off with the knowledge that while these preferred futures are indeed possible, it is up to him to speculate and find a way to work towards these futures if he wants them to become a reality. As Roshan walks off, it is then revealed that what we've been seeing is 10 years from today in 2029. An older Roshan is currently looking back at 2019, using the deck of alternative paths. He is stuck at a dead-end job, single and generally unhappy. After looking back at what could have been, he sighs, pays the fortune teller, and walks away. This story illustrates one of the core concepts of speculative design, the shapes of the future as demonstrated by the future cone. In it, we see 4 different types of futures: the possible, everything that might happen; the plausible, everything that could happen; the probable, everything that is likely to happen; and the preferable, everything that you want to happen or should happen. It is these futures that speculative design seeks to identify and work towards.